Hello, Rita. Hello.
Hello, hello again. Hello.
I am
Okay,
really happy to have you here. Thank you very much.
you
I'm
are very
ready.
kind. It's
Mhm.
a pleasure to me too. To me too. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me when I have the chance, the opportunity to stay with other people speaking in English, and so the chance to be connected with other people so far from Italy and so distant from my life, from my real life. Sometimes I think, oh my God, it's a dream. It's real. I am speaking to another part of the world, but it's real. It's real. Okay.
Wonderful. I used the same feeling.
Yeah,
I used the
wonderful.
same.
Yeah,
Uh, really, it's really interesting. And so we can change our ideas and our topics to talk about we want. And I would like to ask you.
tell me.
Uh, I I am sure you really love to read books. Mhm.
Yeah,
Can
you're
you
right.
share with me about what kind of books will make you mm, um, influenced to impacted you maybe to about your life, about your ideas, about your attitude, lifestyle. Uh, maybe mm, some author make you mm, affect affected you.
Particular influence on my
Yes,
life, you mean?
yes.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I love reading very, very much, and I have been reading a lot of books since my first years of life. When I was a child,
Mhm,
around 6 or 7 years, I started to read. Okay,
mhm,
because at the time I learned to read, and so it was a real pleasure for me to read. Because when you read a book, is as you'll find another friend
mhm,
who is with you for a certain period of your life. And so during my childhood and my growing adult life, I kept on reading, and so for me, a big influence on my life, on my character, on my behavior, I gained from the classic, because classics in Italian language, of course,
mhm,
from Italian authors, from important Italian authors, and I mean the authors you study when you are at school, because the years of school are the most important, I think, in your life, because they are the years of your when you prepare your mind for the future life, and so you have some models in your life to look at. Okay,
mhm,
and so for me, these examples um, came from the books I read. Okay, novels, and also I gain a lot of pleasure when I have the chance to read books of meditation, because I think meditation is a good remedy for brain and for body and
mhm,
for the soul. Yes,
mhm,
these are the books I prefer. And then I read in English um, to keep on exercise my language and my fluency. And so when I read in English, I prefer love story, um, easier topics, okay, not topics of a certain importance, because when you have to meditate, have you think deeply, it's better
mhm,
doing it in your native language. It's better, at least for me it's better.
mhm. Thank you
Okay,
very much. It's really interesting. Mhm.
and you, what do you think about reading? Do you read a lot?
Of course, I like read, and but uh, I couldn't say myself that I am a great reader. I read, but not so much as people are sometimes. But of course, reading made my life more better, and it's made my brain to think, to rethink about my life and about
to
treatment
reflect,
to life.
yeah,
That's
it's
really
important.
interesting. Yes. I like some classics, Russian classics, and of course
Wonderful. The Russian classics are
Pushkin,
wonderful.
Dostoevsky, and others, and
Tolstoy, Chekhov.
Tolstoy. Mhm,
Yeah. I read some Russian classics in my childhood.
mhm,
Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Peace and War is by Tolstoy. War and Peace.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
It was a wonderful book, and also a wonderful, fantastic, terrific film. Because in my childhood, many years ago, I watched this film. Is a masterpiece. The actors were Audrey Hepburn and Mel Ferrer. And I remember I was a girl, a young girl, and I fell in love with this film because it was fantastic, a really masterpiece from War and Peace by Tolstoy. Yes, and then I read the book. That is a very thick book because I think there are almost 100 pages in this book, and so. It takes a long time from the first page to the last page. It takes a long time to read all the book. Yeah.
Really interesting. What kind of character of this book, Wars and Peace, do you like most?
But I don't remember very well this book because I read it many years ago. But I remember this I don't remember very well the name of these characters because the name were in Russian language, and so it's very difficult to remember your alphabet and your words.
Let me help a little. Князь Волконский. How? I forgot to. Natasha Rostova. I forgot to.
Okay, don't worry. I forgive you. Don't worry. It's normal. Okay.
Thank you very much. It's really funny.
Yesterday I saw your short video when you were in the car taking your wife to her job. I watched your video, your short video. Yeah. And so, which kind of job your wife does?
She's a seller person.
She's
She's a seller person. Trader, seller.
Sellers. Okay, seller traders. Okay.
In grocery store, small grocery store, not big.
You instead you are retired. You are retired.
Yes, I am retired. I am retired already 10 years ago. More. From 2008. 8 years.
Okay. And so, and now you are reading a book in particular, RD. Are you reading a book in particular, or you aren't?
Yes, I read Pushkin now. I just some his poems. His poems.
Okay. The poems are very interesting. Yeah.
I decided I have a set of Pushkin books, Pushkin books, and 16 toms. 16 toms. So I decided to read it from first to the to the last. And
when you read the poems, the behavior around you must be different, must be particular, because or at least for me is in this way, because when I read a poem, I have to be concentrated. Okay, so I have to read the words more and more, so to understand better the meaning of each words, because poems sometimes are a bit difficult, because inside them, behind them, there are many different meanings, and so you must be concentrated when you read the poems. Okay, they are wonderful because I love poetry, but you know, I need a particular environment around me when I have to read a poem. Yeah.
I understand you. It's required to be in silent and calm
concentrated.
situation.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree totally. Especially when you read Pushkin or Shakespeare, I guess they used to write by old-fashioned style, and of course it is not easy to understand at once. Yes, it's difficult. I should to review unknown words in afterwards, noticing, and I forgot how to say it in English, but I think you understood me.
I have understood what you are meaning, because for me it's the same thing, especially when I read authors of the ancient times, as Shakespeare, for example. He uses an old English. It's very difficult to understand, and so I prefer the modern version of the language of Shakespeare. And so you can read, you'll find it very easy in internet. You can find the same poems or the same sonnets by Shakespeare, but written in normal modern English. Okay, so for example, you, the pronoun you, if you read Shakespeare, you may, very often you'll find thou, thou. Okay, this word corresponds to the pronoun you, but it's very difficult because it's not a normal word, and so sometimes you cannot recognize it, and so I prefer to use the version in modern English when I read the classics or the classical works by these famous authors. Okay.
Great. Thank you. It's really interesting to talk with you. And as you mentioned, you learned to read when you were 6 years old. Can you say who learned to read you? Maybe you learned to read in school, at school, or maybe some members of your family, grandma or grandpa, taught you?
Do you mean? Do you want to know if some when I learned to read? Because I have well, I learned to read when I was a child, when I began my school, my elementary, my primary school. But I was a great aunt. That was she was for me as another mother, and so she was for me a very particular person. And she was a very romantic woman, a very passionate woman, a lover of music, of poetry, and so she was very sensitive, and she taught me a lot of different feelings and of different aspiration, and she taught me how is good dreaming. Dreaming, because dreaming and the fantasy are strictly connected, and I think that in our life we must use the fantasy, otherwise the world around us is too bad, is too evil, is too black. Instead, if you have a fantasy, you can watch and you can see the world around you in pink. And so I think
pink. Sorry, what means pink?
Pink. Pink is a color.
Ah, I got you. I got you. I got you.
As a rose. Okay, in pink. Okay?
Really, that's interesting. What regards to me, I learned to read also at school, but not at initial class and initial grade, and I wouldn't say that I like read from my child. It will comes me. It came to me over time, and at the beginning I didn't like. Really, no. I don't know. There was a bad experience, because first teacher was really angry.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens everywhere.
Sometimes reading could be also very boring, because you have to choose the right topic and the right book, the book just right for you, because otherwise everything, I think that everything in our life, if you don't do the things with passion and with enthusiasm, everything is very really boring. And so we have to stimulate our fantasy and our passion and our heart, as Christian Sanders says, because Christian suggests us to do the things with passion and with passion and motivation, because motivation and passion are very important in our life. Yeah,
you are right, really.
Yeah. Any news from Christian and Katie? No.
Oh, so sorry. I didn't touch with them from that time when we were speaking with you, and I lost some.
You lost contact. Contact.
But it is it's because I'm not active to go to the Kangaroo chat box. It's because a friend of mine going to visit my city, and we are preparing to meet her. And
So you were a bit busy. You were busy. You were busy with him.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
And
So it's normal. It's normal.
It will last for 2 weeks, maybe. 2 weeks ahead, I will be not so active. And but when you wrote me, I was free, and I was happy to give my reply, and I came as soon as I could. And
thank you, Verdi. Thank you. You are always very, very kind. No, I follow I follow all the friends of Kanguro chat box and also Kanguro official, because I follow you, what you do, what you say, what you practice, what the other friends do. No, because this is a good exercise for me. Okay, so following the activities of this group, also the chats is a very good exercise, a very good remedy and help for my fluency and for my English. Yeah. I have no words to thank everybody for your kindness, because for me it's a real pleasure to talk with you, RD in particular, and with the other friends, because it's very important. It's very important.
Thank you very much. You make me happy, really, when people are saying that they like to talk with me. It is big honor for me, because
it's the truth. Well, I think that something is happening on my display, because I saw a word leaving. What happened? No. Maybe the time is over. The time is over of our chat. Or no?
Not
Okay.
Not yet.
But when you use Zoom, there is a determined a particular time.
Yes, I know. That's so. But I think we have some time. If you have time too, we will continue.
Yeah. I have some other minutes. For me, it's good, because here it's 5 p.m. in the afternoon. The weather is very bad. It's not spring. It's not spring yet. And so I am home doing my ritual daily routine, and so just chatting with you, and then after our chat, I'll go and I'll take my book, and so I practice some reading. Okay.
We are having raining weather now. It's raining outside. Yes. It's how to say, not big now, not hard rain, but we used today. We have used today cat and dog rain. I forgot how to say.
Cats and dogs. Cat and dogs
rain. It was, but really short. It was maybe during 1 or 2 minutes, and
yeah, but this is terrible. When it's raining, cats and dogs, it's raining, because nowadays with this pollution, with these differences in the climate, there is no more the normal rain of my past life, of my past years. Now there is a tornado or typhoon, and so
wow.
I scared of this rain because they are very, very dangerous. There are a lot of danger when it rains so strong, so heavy. Yeah, you have to pay a lot of much attention because otherwise it could be very dangerous for agriculture, for the buildings, and also for the streets, because usually with this strong rain, there is also a very strong wind, and so when there is a strong wind, it's particularly dangerous for the trees, for the roofs, for example, Okay, so you have to pay attention. Yeah.
But today was changing weather. Sometimes it was sunny, but cloudy. But at the morning I saw from the west were dark clouds coming toward us, and after maybe it was an afternoon time when rain, cat and dogs rain started. And I wanted to record it to my phone, but while I was standing up and going to the to another room, it takes for me some time, and yes, I came to the kitchen and to the window, but raining already.
Already gone.
Already gone, really.
Okay. FD, it's time for me to go because someone is on my door, and so it's knocking on my door. I have to leave you, and so because someone is at the door.
Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, FD. I thank you very much. It was always a pleasure for me to talk with you. Okay, I hope to see you again very, very soon.
Of course. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice evening.
The same to you. Bye bye, and thank you again. Bye bye.